The night of November 9, 2025 was one Manila would never forget. The city was shrouded in darkness, the kind that makes every light seem brighter, every sound sharper. Rain fell in relentless sheets, drumming on rooftops and pooling in the gutters, as if the sky itself was trying to wash the city clean. Rain hammered the city, turning streets into rivers and rattling windows from Tondo to Makati. The usual chaos of Manila traffic slowed to a crawl, headlights shimmering on the waterlogged roads, horns muffled by the downpour. People huddled under awnings and umbrellas, waiting for the storm to pass, unaware that something even bigger was about to break. At 9 p.m., a blinding digital flash cut through the storm, an urgent news alert on millions of screens. The glow of smartphones and televisions flickered in every home, every street corner, every jeepney stuck in traffic. For a moment, the city's attention shifted from the storm outside to the storm brewing in cyberspace. The headline: Breaking U.S. and Philippines sign historic $26 trillion energy deal in West Philippine Sea. The word seemed almost too big for the screen, too monumental to believe. $26 trillion, an amount that dwarfed anything the country had ever seen. The city froze. For a heartbeat, only rain could be heard. The usual sounds of laughter, chatter, and traffic faded into the background, replaced by a stunned silence that seemed to stretch on forever. Then, a wave of disbelief swept through carinderias and living rooms. Spoons clattered, eyes widened, conversation stopped mid-sentence as families, friends, and strangers alike tried to process what they had just heard. The air was thick with anticipation and confusion. The words trillion, oil, and gas hung in the air, both alien and electrifying. For many, these were words from distant headlines, not something that belonged to their own lives. Now, they were suddenly at the center of every conversation. Was this real? Could a number that large even be true? People checked and rechecked their phone, searching for confirmation, for a sign that this wasn't just a mistake or a cruel joke. The disbelief was palpable, but so was the hope. On rain-soaked sidewalks, vendors paused mid-motion, reading headlines aloud to neighbors. Even those who had seen decades of hardship and broken promises found themselves daring to believe, if only for a moment, that something extraordinary was happening. Questions erupted. Is it true? 26 trillion? That's more than the country's ever seen. People argued, speculated, and wondered aloud what this could mean for their families, their jobs, their future. The city buzzed with a nervous electric energy. The news spread like wildfire. Texts, calls, shouts across the city. In every barangay, in every high-rise and shanty, the story was retold, growing with each retelling. The city's collective imagination ignited, fueled by dreams of prosperity and change. The storm outside now mirrored the storm of hope and uncertainty within. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the city in brief, brilliant flashes, as if nature itself was celebrating, or warning, of what was to come. The thunder no longer sounded like a threat, but an announcement. Each rumble seemed to echo the news, reverberating through the hearts of millions. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for what would happen next. In that moment, the future of 115 million Filipinos seemed to shift. Hopes and fears mingled in the humid air as families gathered together, united by a single, overwhelming question. What comes next? The relentless rain felt like a cleansing force, washing away decades of hardship. For the first time in years, people allowed themselves to imagine a different tomorrow, one where opportunity and abundance might finally be within reach. The night was dark, but for the first time in a long time, the future felt blindingly bright. As the storm began to fade and the first hints of dawn crept over the horizon, Manila stood on the edge of something new. Uncertain, yes, but filled with hope, ready to face whatever the morning would bring. By dawn, the shock had settled. The city bathed in a gentle golden light as if the world itself was holding its breath. The news had woven itself into the fabric of daily life, transforming uncertainty into a complex mix of hope and caution that lingered in every conversation and every glance. In General Santos, fishermen gathered by the shore, their hands busy with nets but their minds adrift with dreams. They spoke boldly of a future where their children could stay home, where families would no longer be torn apart by the need to seek work in distant lands. The promise of prosperity meant the possibility of keeping loved ones close, of building a life rooted in their own soil. The $26 trillion figure echoed through the air, not just as a number, but as a promise, a vision of dignity, security, and a chance to rewrite the nation's story. For many, it was the first time in generations that such hope felt tangible. But in Baguio's coffee shops, the mood was more cautious. Students and professors debated the risks late into the night: resource curses, corruption, inequality. The excitement was tempered by hard questions and historical lessons. "We've seen this before," a professor warned, his voice steady but grave. "Great wealth can be a great poison, if not managed with integrity. It can divide as easily as it can unite." Overseas Filipino workers from Dubai to Los Angeles watched the headlines with cautious optimism. For years they had sacrificed, sending money home and missing milestones. Now they wondered, could this be the moment they finally come home, reunite with family, and build a future together? Group chats buzzed with hope and prayer, friends and families sharing dreams and worries. The ache of separation eased, if only a little, by the possibility of change. In Manila, talk radio callers filled the airwaves with passionate demands. This money must go to schools and hospitals, not politicians' pockets, they insisted, their voices echoing the hopes of millions. A young mother, holding her child by the window, imagined safe neighborhoods, clean air, and a future where her child could thrive without fear or want. Across the country, a sense of ownership began to take root. This was the people's money, not just the government's. Communities talked of transparency, of watching over every peso, determined to protect what was rightfully theirs. The nation was waking up, not just to the opportunity, but to the responsibility that came with it. The duty to safeguard this chance, to ensure it would not slip away. Hope and caution merged into a single powerful voice, a chorus that demanded both vigilance and vision. The country, united in its longing, demanded a better future. And for the first time in a long while, it felt possible. The deal's scale was staggering, unlike anything the Philippines had ever seen before. It was a moment that would be remembered for generations, a turning point in the nation's history. Beneath the waves of the West Philippine Sea lay one of the world's largest untapped reserves of gas and oil, a treasure confirmed by years of joint surveys and international studies. The potential was immense, enough to change the fate of a nation. This wasn't just a simple sale, but a groundbreaking partnership. U.S. firms brought in billions in capital and cutting-edge technology, while the Philippines retained majority ownership and control over its resources. It was a deal built on mutual respect and shared ambition. The wealth promised to reshape daily life for millions. Microloans would empower street vendors to grow their businesses, while modern irrigation systems would help farmers boost their harvests and secure their livelihoods. Safe, affordable housing for families would become a reality, no longer just a distant hope, but a promise fulfilled. Children could play in secure neighborhoods, and parents could finally rest easy at night. Millions of jobs would be created, not just in the booming energy sector, but across the entire economy. Massive infrastructure projects, new highways, modern railways, and expanded public transport would connect remote regions and open up new opportunities. State-of-the-art airports and high-speed trains would link cities and provinces, making travel faster and commerce more efficient, fueling growth in every corner of the country. The Philippines was set to become a true manufacturing and energy powerhouse, attracting global investors and creating a new era of prosperity for its people. Education and healthcare were at the heart of the plan. New schools in every province, free university tuition for deserving students, and modern hospitals equipped to care for every Filipino. For the first time, families could truly dream of a better life for their children, one filled with hope, opportunity, and security. The future was no longer uncertain but bright and within reach. The deal was more than just a number on a page. It was the dawn of a new reality. A sunrise over a nation ready to rise and claim its place on the world stage. The nation stood on the edge of transformation, united by hope and driven by the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The economic shockwave brought a surge of national pride. Resilience was joined by strength. The Philippines was now a key player in global energy. Flags flew everywhere, local products boomed, and artists captured the spirit of hope. Infrastructure rose rapidly. Cranes in new cities, roads, connecting remote villages. Build became a visible reality. The brain drain reversed. Scientists and engineers returned, eager to help build the future. Tech startups flourished, innovation thrived. The Philippines transformed from exporter of talent to magnet for expertise. A virtuous cycle of growth and pride took hold. The deal was more than economics. It reaffirmed a historic US-Philippines alliance. For America, it secured energy and influence in Asia. For the Philippines, it meant security and respect. The partnership was one of equals, not dependence. The Philippines asserted its rights in the West, Philippine Sea, backed by US support. Other Southeast Asian nations took notice, seeing a new model for sovereignty and partnership. The alliance deepened, scholarships, joint research, and cultural exchanges flourished. The relationship was rebuilt not just between governments, but between people. A resilient, multifaceted partnership was born. In Beijing, the deal landed like a thunderclap. China condemned it, ramped up naval patrols, and threatened economic retaliation. State media called it an American plot. The region braced for tension. But the Philippines, now backed by US might, stood firm. Coast Guard patrols continued, US Navy increased its presence. The West Philippine Sea became a test of international law versus force. The world watched as the balance of power in Asia shifted. The government moved fast, creating the Maharlika Sovereign Development Fund, the People's Fund, managed by independent experts. Its mission invest for the long-term benefit of all Filipinos. Revenues funded infrastructure, education, healthcare, and a robust social safety net. A portion was invested in green technology and innovation, preparing for a post-oil future. Radical transparency was key real-time public tracking, annual audits, and citizen oversight. The fund aimed to break the cycle of corruption and ensure the wealth truly belonged to the nation. The promise. This time, things would be different. The People's Fund was built to last for generations. The path ahead was perilous. Corruption remained a threat. Vigilance from government and citizens was essential. A free press, strong judiciary, and zero tolerance for graft were non-negotiable. Environmental risks loomed. Deep-sea drilling could devastate marine life. Strict regulations and enforcement were critical. Geopolitical tensions with China could escalate at any moment. The Philippines had to balance strength with diplomacy, seeking peace while defending sovereignty. Managing public expectations was vital. Transformation would take time. Open communication and steady progress were needed to avoid unrest. The journey was a marathon, not a sprint. This is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter, authored by every Filipino. The deal is a tool, not a magic solution. Its value depends on the nation's unity and integrity. The spirit of people power must now fuel nation building. Every citizen is a watchdog, every teacher a guide, every community a steward. Unity is essential. The challenges ahead are too great for a divided nation. Debates must be rooted in love for country and the common good. From Luzon to Mindanao, every Filipino is a stakeholder. The future depends on working and dreaming together. The storm has passed. A new dawn has broken. Now is the time to rise, seize destiny, and build a future worthy of the Filipino dream.